All right, guys, the reason I'm calling you here today is just to re-emphasize some things that Mark and I have been talking about these last couple weeks. You guys have generally done a really good job in providing a solid and fun customer environment, but I just wanted to reinforce some things that we can keep our repeat customers happy and just have more people in general come into the shop. Not that it's your fault because we are in the middle of a pandemic, but sales have been significantly lower than in past summers, and I just want to make sure we're doing everything we can to keep our customers happy and coming back. Obviously, having good customer service is a huge part of why this shop runs so well. It's because of you guys. You know what you're doing and you know how to have fun with the customers, which is really important. I just wanted to reemphasize some things so that you guys can get those tips up and Mark can get off me about those sales numbers a little bit, okay? Now, to start things off with how to greet and more importantly, how to read the customer when he or she enters. Obviously, most of the time, you guys do a great job in greeting the customer and getting a short conversation going if they seem to be in a good mood and you know they're a repeat customer. But if, for example, and I've seen this a couple times, when a customer enters and he has his head down and he's sweating and he doesn't meet your energy from the greeting you put out, do not ask him about how he's playing. It is a non starter. As a golfer myself, if I'm getting snacks, half the time it's for a distraction from the game. Now, if the customer does seem happy and he and his buddies are laughing and talking about a cool shot he hit, then obviously you have the go ahead to ask how his round's going or how he's playing. Most of you guys do a great job with this, but it's always a good reminder to read the customer and do your best to match the energy he's putting out. Now, another thing, while the other person is getting the food or drink, it's important if they aren't on their phone or talking to whoever they walked in with, it's important to get a short conversation going. Nothing serious, and it doesn't, if they don't seem to be in a good mood, do not talk about their golf game again. Usually, golf is on TV, so talk about the tournament or whatever sports are going on if you can't think of anything to say. And if the customer is stoic, you're not going to hurt his feelings by asking how his day is going. Just remember, this is a snack shop. What's the worst that can happen, right? Now, after you've given your customer his or her items, it is important that you say good luck with their round or whatever you think would help them leave on a good note. And most of you do a great job with this, but again, it can't hurt to say good luck with a smile. And if you've had a solid interaction with them, be confident and let them know that you want to see them again after their round. Especially if you're a lady and he's been playfully flirting a little bit, both of you know he just wants to have fun and you want a tip, all right? There's nothing serious going on here. Now, to just go over some housekeeping things that Mark and I have talked about so you guys don't feel overwhelmed when a decent amount of customers come in. And Mark and I have both discussed this. And instead of having all three of you interact with customers, we think it's important that we stick to our stations where someone is in the back making sandwiches, hot dogs, burgers, and fries. One person is packing up items and handing them out or delivering them to customers if they're inside. And one person is greeting and having a conversation with the customer while they are waiting for their food. This will help the customer get their food faster and have an interaction if the line isn't too long. And if there is an extra person in, they can help package up the item or help in the back, or they can just be a floater for wherever they're needed. If they have nothing to do, again, ABCs, always be cleaning. You guys have heard this all before. And I know you guys will get bored with staying at your position, so if me or Mark isn't in, you guys will be responsible for changing stations, okay? I'd say a shift every 1 to 2 hours should work for most of the shifts you guys work. Also, remember to clean the patio and the bar if you know any customers have left and you have time. Most of the time, this will fall on the person in the back because if they have burgers ready and it's not busy, you guys can always be cleaning something. Another reminder for those who aren't working on Mondays and Fridays, if you are working a later shift, remember to sweep first, then mop the front and back. Sometimes on Wednesdays when I come in the morning, I can tell no one mopped or swept on Monday. It has a tendency to smell pretty bad, especially in the back by the fry and the grill. If you don't have time, a quick 5-minute spot sweep at the end of your shift and mopping by the fryer especially would really help out, since that's where the shop gets most dirty. Remember, our customers can see in the back if they go up to the bar. No one wants to see grease stains everywhere where their food is being made. And, this doesn't exactly send a good message about the food they're about to eat, right? Remember to always be washing up in the front too with a clean rag so our customers have a clean place to sit. You guys should be doing this every time, when someone leaves and especially if they spilled something. I know it gets busy at times, but no one wants to sit at the bar if the table is sticky. That's gross. We do want people to stay in the shop because most of the time they have a tendency to buy more if they sit down instead of taking their food and drink out on the course. And I know the league guys come in and they like staying in here too. So on Fridays when they're done with their round, if they come in around 1, so remember to have the bar and front at least swept if you and then if you have time to mopped as well. Also, with mopping the front, I know customers have a tendency of walking in with a ton of grass and dirt because of the golf spikes, but that has to be swept first so we don't just mop around the dirt they bring in. The paneling we have does make it pretty easy to see, which is good for you guys because you can see what to clean up, but it also makes it really obvious to customers when, someone hasn't swept. So do your best if you don't have any customers in line to be on top of that. Going along with housekeeping items, I think it's important that we remember to follow our COVID procedures. It's important to always keep your mask on whenever you're in the shop or if you're on the beer cart. We've had a couple of complaints about workers' masks not covering their noses too, so just remember to be on top of that. As someone who has had COVID myself, I'm telling you guys, you don't want this. So just make sure you're taking all the precautions necessary to protect yourselves and our customers. Seriously, I was out for 2 solid weeks where I didn't feel like doing anything and I couldn't taste or smell anything as well. So, and I'd say I have a pretty strong immune system, so this thing is no joke. There's definitely a reason why, we have to be as cautious as we have been. And we do have some older customers too, so we don't want to be responsible for that. So do your best to stay on top of it. Also, I know it's hard, but try and stay at least 6 feet apart from each other. If you do have to be close quarters with someone, just be cautious and keep those masks up. And I do understand it's hard since we have a pretty tight space behind the bar, and we have multiple people in the front at one time. So just do your best. Also, remember to keep those gloves on at all times, especially when you're handing out items to customers. I would hate for someone to not come back because they don't think we're taking this pandemic as seriously as we should be. Generally, I think you guys have, and I think people have been pretty forgiving about the situation. But again, customer service is the first priority. If they can't feel safe here, they definitely won't come back. For your own safety and health as well, I know you guys have been taking care of yourselves, but I think we all need a reminder every once in a while, even if it's frustrating at times. And I do appreciate you guys being on top of that for the most part. Also, another customer service reminder, if a customer doesn't have a mask, the Pro Shop is handing them out now for free, so just point them across the shop so they can pick one up. Again, you guys have been doing a great job from a customer service standpoint. Keep it up, and if me or another manager isn't in, just remember to stick to that hourly rotation so you guys don't get bored and no one gets screwed. All right, great job, everyone. You guys have been doing great, and remember, if you're put in a bad situation, just think, what's the worst that could happen, right? It's just a snack shop. All right, thanks, guys. I'll see some of you next week.